Azimio Umoja One Kenya coalition party has signaled its intentions to file a suit challenging the constitutionality of the recommendations of the Power of Mercy Advisory Committee that granted pardons to some 37 prisoners under presidential pardon.
Well, the opposition coalition says the recommendations made were unprocedural, illegal and unconstitutional, and consequently, the pardons granted must be rescinded within 7 days. Brenda Wanga reports.
Exercising powers granted to him through the Power of Mercy Act, President William Ruto pardoned 37 convicts, allowing them enjoyment of freedom before the expiry of their sentences. According to the Constitution of Kenya, the President can exercise that power on the recommendation of the consideration of petitions filed before the Advisory Committee on the Power of Mercy. Azimio Umoja One Kenya coalition says it is now moving to court to have the pardons reversed, and here's why.
The list is full of people who have killed, people who have stolen, people who have robbed, and people who have raped children. Those are the people we have forgiven.
The opposition faults the head of state for allegedly issuing the pardons without following due process and taking into consideration the criteria and processes set out in the Power of Mercy Act that includes looking at the age of the offender, the circumstances surrounding the commission of the crime, whether the convict is a first offender, the nature and seriousness of the crime, how the convict has conducted himself post-conviction, his character and reputation, and the interest of the state, as well as the period of the sentence already served.
So one of the criteria that is there is that you should have served at least a third of your sentence before you are eligible to petition. We have at least several instances in that list of people who have just begun their sentences or have not even gone anywhere near a third of their sentences, yet their petitions were accepted. We have people who have committed very serious offences, and the seriousness of an offence itself is one of the criteria.
Azimio says the president, in granting the pardons, disregarded the provisions of the act by failing to grant victims of the crimes a hearing, as well as disregarding their feelings and without listening to the views and feelings of the public. They also say the pardons, if left to stand, will only serve to encourage the public to disregard the rule of law and encourage crime.
We want to establish that we don't breed impunity. And the way to stop the breeding of impunity is to ensure that these powers can never be abused and have to be used for the right reason.
Among those released include former KEMRI director David Koech, who was jailed for 6 years in 2021 after being found guilty of fraudulently acquiring public property. Others in the list of 37 include convicts of murder and attempted defilement. The Law Society of Kenya has also joined those asking for more transparency in the manner in which the Power of Mercy is exercised. Speaking to Citizen TV on phone, the LSK President Eric Theory says the lack of transparency in the manner in which the convicts were pardoned has added to the discomfort surrounding the recent exercising of this power. He says the time is ripe for discussions around reviewing the act to, amongst other things, bring in a sense of professionalism and transparency in the workings of the Advisory Committee on the Power of Mercy. He further says the committee should, moving forward, give reasons for pardoning each petitioner. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.